We're starting our new book today. The House at Pooh Corner. And I already read you The House at Pooh Corner when I was back in Canada. So now I want to read you In Which Tigger Comes to the Forest and Has a Breakfast, because we're bringing more people in. Winnie the Pooh woke up suddenly in the middle of the night and listened. Then he got out of bed and lit his candle and stumped across the room to see if anybody was trying to get into his honey cupboard. And they weren't, so he stumped back again, blew out his candle and got into bed. And then he heard the noise again. "Is that you, Piglet?" he said. But it wasn't. "Come in, Christopher Robin," he said. But Christopher Robin didn't. "Tell me about it tomorrow, Eeyore," Pooh said sleepily. But the noise went on. "Wah, wah, 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 wah," said whatever it was, and Pooh found that he wasn't asleep after all. What can it be, he thought. There are lots of noises in the forest, but this is a different one. It isn't a growl, and it isn't a purr, and it isn't a bark, and it isn't the noise you make before beginning a piece of poetry. But it's a noise of some kind made by a strange animal, and he's making it outside my door. So, I shall get up and ask him not to do it. He got out of bed and opened his front door. "Hello," said Pooh, in case there's anything out there. "Hello," said it, whatever it was. "Hello." "Oh, there you are," said Pooh. "Hello." "Hello," said the strange animal, wondering how long this was going on. Pooh was just going to say, "Hello," for the first time, and he thought that he wouldn't, so instead he said, "Who is it?" "Me," said a voice. "Oh," said Pooh. "Well, come here." So whatever it was came into the light of the candle, and Pooh looked at it, and he and Pooh looked at each other. "I'm Pooh," said Pooh. "I'm Tigger," said Tigger. "Oh," said Pooh, for he has never seen an animal like this before. "Does Christopher Robin know about you?" "Of course he does," said Tigger. "Well," said Pooh, "it's the middle of the night, which is a good time for going to sleep. And tomorrow morning we'll have some honey for breakfast. Do Tiggers like honey?" "They like everything," said Tigger cheerfully. "Then if they like going to sleep on the floor, I'll go back to bed," said Pooh. "And we'll do things in the morning. Good night." And he got back into bed and went fast asleep. When he awoke in the morning, the first thing he saw was Tigger sitting in front of the glass and looking at the window. "Hello," said Pooh. "Hello," said Tigger. "I found somebody just like me. I thought I was the only one of them." Pooh got out of bed and began to explain what a looking glass was, but as he was getting to the interesting part, Tigger said, "Excuse me a moment, but there's something climbing on your table." And with one loud wah 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 wah, he jumped on the table, on the end of the tablecloth, pulled it to the ground and wrapped himself up in it 3 times, rolled to the other end of the room, and after a terrible struggle got his head into the daylight again and said cheerfully, "Have I won?" "That's my tablecloth," said Pooh as he began to unwind Tigger. "I wondered what it was," said Tigger. "It goes on a table and you put things on it." "Oh, excuse me. Then why did it try to bite me when I wasn't looking?" "I don't think it did," said Pooh. "It tried," said Tigger, "but I was too quick for it." Pooh put the cloth back on the table, and he put a large honey pot on the cloth, and they sat down to breakfast. As soon as they sat down, Tigger took a large mouthful of honey, and he looked up at the ceiling with his head on one side and made exploring noises with his tongue, and considering noises, and "what have we got here" noises. And then he said in a very decided tone, "Tiggers don't like honey." "Oh," said Pooh, trying to make it sound sad and regretful. "I thought they liked everything." "Everything except honey," said Tigger. Pooh felt rather pleased about this, and said that as soon as he had finished his own breakfast, he would take Tigger round to Piglet's house, and Tigger could try some of Piglet's acorns. "Thank you, Pooh," said Tigger, because acorns is really what Tiggers like best. So after breakfast they went around to see Piglet, and Pooh exclaimed that the Piglet was a very small animal who didn't like bouncing, and asked Tigger not to do so, not to be too bouncy just at first. And Tigger, who has been hiding behind trees and jumping out of Pooh's shadow when he wasn't looking, said that Tiggers were only bouncy before breakfast, and as soon as they had a few acorns they became quiet and refined. So by and by they knocked on the door of Piglet's house. "Hello, Pooh," said Piglet. "Hello, Piglet, this is Tigger." "Oh, is it?" said Piglet, and he edged around the other side of the table. "I thought Tiggers was smaller than that." "Not the big ones," said Tigger. "They like acorns," said Pooh, "so that's what we've come for, because poor Tigger hasn't had any breakfast yet." Piglet pushed a bowl of acorns toward Tigger and said, "Help yourself." And then got close up to Pooh and felt much braver and said, "So you're Tigger? Well, well," in a careless sort of voice. Tigger had nothing in his mouth, said nothing because his mouth was full of acorns. After a long munching noise, he said, "Ears, ahors." And then Pooh and Piglet said, "What?" And he said, "Scoos-e," and then went back outside for a moment. And when he came back, he said firmly, "Tiggers don't like acorns." "But you said you liked everything except honey," said Pooh. "Everything except honey and acorns," explained Tigger. And Pooh, when he heard this, Pooh said, "Oh, I see." And Piglet, who was rather glad that Tiggers didn't like acorns, said, "What about thistles?" "Thistles," said Tigger. "What is what Tigger?" "Thistles," said Tigger, "is what Tiggers like best." "Then let us go along and see Eeyore," said Piglet. So the three of them went, and after they had walked and walked and walked, they came to the part of the forest where Eeyore was. "Hello, Eeyore," said Pooh. "This is Tigger." "What is?" said Eeyore. "This," explained Pooh and Piglet together, and Tigger smiled a happier smile and said nothing. Eeyore walked all around Tigger one way, and then turned and walked around the other way. "What did you say it was?" he asked. "Tigger." Said Eeyore. "He's just come," explained Piglet. Said Eeyore again. And he thought for a long time and said, "When is he going?" Pooh explained that Tigger was a great friend of Christopher Robin's who had come to stay in the forest. And Piglet explained to Tigger that he mustn't mind what Eeyore said because he was always gloomy. And Eeyore explained to Piglet that, on the contrary, he was feeling particularly cheerful this morning. And Tigger explained to anybody who was listening that he hadn't had breakfast yet. Alright, love, and we'll finish this chapter tomorrow. There's a magnificent picture of Tia pouncing into the forest, and I think it's wonderful. Alright, love, I'm going to be talking to you very soon, I just found out. So I will talk to you shortly, love. I love you, Christy. Good night.